Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for a new video here with me, Addict. Today we are in The Sims 2 and we are building an extremely modern, extremely huge, monolithic mansion. In my sort of like save folders and everything, I've called this the modern monolith. So first of all guys, I just want to apologize. I have been very much absent this week on my channel. I have not been uploading, and I've already spoken a little bit about this in my Discord and also just in my live stream yesterday. So if I've already told you about this, I apologize. But for those of you who weren't there, I just had a really crazy week this week with my IRL job. Everything just kind of exploded and it was really insane, and I just didn't have time or energy to record. So I am very sorry about that. I tried to update on YouTube, but I failed, so anyway, hopefully next week will be a bit calmer and we'll be able to record again. But today, during the week, I did have a couple of snippets of time in order to build, and build I did. When I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling a bit like overwhelmed, building is one of my favorite things to do, particularly in The Sims 2, because I just find it extremely relaxing. And so I play a Build a City challenge off camera. I'm going to link the rules for the Build a City challenge that I personally follow down below this video, so if you're interested you can check it out. But essentially the military has landed in my town and I needed to build some houses for my military sims, for in particular my like top ranking military officers and generals. So I've been doing a lot of building, and this house right here, you can see the floor plan and the sort of front visage of the house up in the corner there. This one I found and I liked, and I was aiming to make it be worth around 200,000 simoleons, and I ended up getting it pretty much bang on 200,000 simoleons. So the general's house in my town I built the other day, there's a post on my Patreon if you guys want to check that out. That one's worth about 300,000 simoleons. These houses here are for the astronauts, so that's the rank 9 in the military career, and then I also built houses for my senior officers, which are worth about 100,000 simoleons, and then I also built houses for my commanders, which are worth about 50,000 simoleons. So I really sort of like ranked, when you rank up in the military, you get an upgrade in house quite rapidly. But yeah, so this one, this was a really fun build. So first of all, I had to download extra CC, a lot of extra CC. My CC folder, as a result of all these builds I've been doing, has exploded, and it's not necessarily a good thing. But I don't generally build or play in modern houses. I'm very much like a traditional person in real life. I'm a family sim, as Plumbella would say, I'm a family sim. And my houses, they all tend to sort of turn out looking pretty much the same. They're sort of very old, well not old, like they can look new, but they're still in a traditional style. I love a weatherboard, I love a sort of traditional mansion. So building modern is not something that I do often, and I didn't have a lot of modern custom content in my game. So one of the things I struggled with the most for sure was the windows, trying to get windows that matched the design of the build I was trying to replicate, as well as just that looked good. And so I ended up downloading the modern Metro window set from Mod The Sims, as well as a couple of other ones, and I got it looking all right in the end. But there were a lot of things that I just didn't have. Like in a moment we'll start working on some of the actual rooms, and the downstairs office is meant to have this big sort of industrial barn sliding door, which I didn't have. I did end up finding one and downloading it, so it is in the finished build. But yeah, so the other thing about this build is that I built the basic structure of the house and the floor plan, and then I actually lost the build to a crash because I tried to hit save and the game crashed. So you will see me hopefully pause and save quite a few times as I build this house. Another thing I should mention is that I did not record all of it. This footage is sped up in 8 times speed, so it might be a little hard to see what I'm doing, but so this is sped up 8 times, like its normal rate, and it's still like half an hour of speed building, and I didn't record everything. So this took me hours and hours of building, and I did it over, as I mentioned, quite a few different days. Just after I got home from work, I was like, right, back to my modern monolith, here we go. And look, here I'm struggling with the windows. Oh, it was such a struggle. That actually looks quite good, that window there. I probably should have left it as that, I don't know, but yeah, such a struggle to have the windows looking exactly how I wanted. I had so many, like over the course of this build, I downloaded so many more windows and I still couldn't get it looking how I wanted it to look, so it was very frustrating. But yeah, so it was a big build. I think real time it would have been maybe like 5 or 6 hours, maybe 7 hours spread across the last week. I usually sort of sat down and did about 2-hour blocks, something like that. And yeah, so what I've been doing with these builds is I've been finding inspiration online, because as I mentioned, like all of the builds that I usually do, number one, they kind of turn out looking the same because I am not that imaginative. Like, I'm going to be honest, I'm really not. I don't have that sort of like creative, imaginative like thing where I can just come up with a design for a mansion. I build from reference. I build from inspiration. I'm like, I will find an image of something that I want to recreate and I will do my best to recreate it. I actually really enjoy in The Sims 4 that we've got the gallery, because then I don't have to come up with interesting designs. I can just download someone else's interesting design. But yeah, so throughout the course of the build, you might see a couple of pictures pop up in the corner, or I might just show them all at the end, because this house was listed for sale a little while ago in somewhere in the US, and so I will look up like a residential listing for the house, and I'll just try my best to recreate it. And that's sort of how I come up with my designs and everything, how I came up with the interior design, all of that. Yeah, I didn't come up with it out of just like nothing. I was trying to copy something that already existed, or you know, a beautiful, very talented interior designer kind of came up with, because that's just what I find way easier. This build also, of course, involved a lot of constrained floor elevation sheet, which was fun, and the stairs were fun, and yeah, it was just a big effort. But yeah, so I'm building from reference. That's what I have been doing with all of the builds that I've been trying to create for this military base, for these military sims, is a recreation of something that exists in real life. And that was, yeah, pretty much just to get something that was unique and interesting looking, because as I said, I just don't sit down and come up with a design. I'm not an architect, I guess. I'm not an architect, I'm not an interior designer, although I reckon I could give that a crack. But yeah, so I build from reference, and if you guys ever struggle with like inspiration for building in The Sims, I highly recommend like trying to look up a real life floor plan and recreate it, and just, yeah, going on Pinterest, going on Google image search, and just searching, I don't know, like modern living room or modern kitchen or whatever, and hopefully, yeah, you'll be able to find something that gives you that little boost of inspiration to create something really cool and unique looking. Another thing that I did struggle with in this build was that a lot of the real build and everything, it isn't as high up as this build is. So in The Sims 2, it's really difficult. There is a way to do it, but essentially when you put something on a foundation, or even using constrained floor elevation or whatever, your build is going to be 4 clicks off the ground, so you have to have 4 steps leading up to it. I would have loved to have it only 2 steps leading up and do things in like sort of platform mode like we have in The Sims 4, but I couldn't do that. I did find, yeah, there is a tool, I think it's by Mutilda, to like adjust the grid and have your house be only like 2 clicks up, or instead of 4 or whatever, but that was just way too complicated for me. So it is a little bit, like, it sits a bit higher off the ground than the real build does, but I mean, it is what it is. I also, the camera's moved on now, but I used some fake garage doors, which I found online, and I can't remember who created them, but I was really happy when I found them, and I thought, oh, how cool. So yeah, basically they're just like wall art that are fake garage doors. So I haven't actually play tested this lot significantly yet. I don't know if the garage is functional at all. Inside the garage there are car parking spaces, but I don't know if your sim tried to drive out of the garage if they'd actually be able to. Potentially not. But there are like a couple of driveway pieces outside as well, so maybe your sim could just keep a couple of show cars in their garage in this house, and then just just park outside and sort of drive from outside. But yeah, so At the moment, we're just sort of doing the roof. The whole roof like overhangs the build quite significantly, and it's a very blocky, very modern design, as you would expect in a house like this. But I did think it was pretty cool. At the end of the day, I thought it turned out quite nice. So around the side of the house here, there is like as I mentioned, there's access into the garage through a bit of constrained floor elevation weirdness. And there's a little fence that kind of runs along the side of the house, and I was trying to find one that matched with what was up on the back balcony and on the ground, and I ended up accomplishing that. But yeah, you can see here what I was talking about with the driveway. So there are a couple of driveway pieces that come up to the garage, and then there's a couple pieces inside the garage, but they don't connect, and I don't think they're actually functional completely 100% in the game. So that might just be something that you have to sort of figure out, and I'll play test and figure it out as well. But yeah, so the outside of the house, the design is pretty simple. The garden isn't anything super fancy. I didn't want to go overboard with trees and plants and things, because obviously the more trees and plants you have on your lot, the more laggy it can be. So I wanted to make the garden relatively easy care. I wanted to make it mostly just trees and nice green grass, because again, that was taking inspiration from the pictures anyway. So it kind of turned out for the best, in my opinion. The tree in the front yard I do really like, though. It's kind of like a very old gnarled tree and looks kind of cool. Oh, and this section was fun. So I put in a little like a little road sign, I guess, like a little house sign, like the mailbox, and I used Buggy Boo's nooks and niches to accomplish that. Yeah, just having a little base game number sign sort of, yeah, put inside a Buggy Boo's block, and I thought that actually turned out looking very cool and quite realistic in this. Yeah, so the fencing around this lot doesn't actually go around the very outside of the lot either. It kind of cuts off a little bit of the space, so if you wanted to, you could always extend the fence line and have the build take up even more room than it currently does. That's totally up to you. I just wanted it to look more like the original kind of design. Something that I was sort of telling myself as I was doing this build, though, was that, like, because I was getting really frustrated at a few points that I couldn't make it look exactly like my pictures. I couldn't make it look precisely like it did in the pictures, and I had to keep telling myself, like, okay, girl, this is a Sims game. It's okay if it doesn't look absolutely the same. It's all right if it's a little bit different, if it's not exactly how it looked. You're gonna be okay. But yeah, I had to sort of just remind myself of that a few times, because I was getting I was getting annoyed. And it was very silly to be getting annoyed by that. But you know, sometimes I can be a bit what's the word, like, just not narrow-minded, but I get an idea and I'm like, no, it has to be like this. But yeah, so here we are starting work on the downstairs sort of office and some of the colouring. So you can see originally I put just a Torox build set French door. Oh yeah, and here's the stairwell. Oh boy, I'm about to go through the motions of recolouring stairs. Everybody get keen. Of course, sped up 8 times. It doesn't look that bad because, yeah, here we go. I'm about to start. Yep. Recolouring. Yeah, in real time, that takes a very long time to recolour the stairs. So it's really satisfying to watch it in fast forward because, yeah. But yeah, so the downstairs office, where we're going to sort of go into decorating it soon. That was the first room that I kind of did. It was really cool trying to recreate it. I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, so it had like this big barn sliding door in the original images, and you'll see at the end of the build what I mean. So yeah, originally I started with like a French door, and then I ended up finding one that's really good. And then this house also had a lot of inbuilt cabinetry, and you can see me here kind of starting the motions of trying to figure out how I was going to replicate this inbuilt cabinetry. So I started with a sideboard, which looked nice, and then I was like, how am I going to do the shelves kind of above the sideboard? And I end up using a lot of Buggy Boo's Kitchen Basic shelves and wall panels. So it ended up really cool, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. But essentially I use these Buggy Boo's Kitchen Basic wall panels to create a completely custom inbuilt cabinet. And the shelves are totally functional. I do decorate the shelves at the end of the build and everything. And then I end up lining the back of the cabinet with even more panels as well, so it looks like a completely inbuilt unit. And there's one of these units, in this study here, as you see, and there's also one in the living room where the TV goes. So that is how I accomplish that, just a sideboard and then a lot of Buggy Boo's Kitchen Basics shelves. Here I'm changing the floor color because I realized I'd made it too dark. And then just going through and starting to decorate according to the original sort of pictures. One thing that this office had that I honestly don't see in many modern builds anymore was it actually has like an animal print rug, like a animal skin rug almost, so I do put that in. Oh, and here I'm trying to pick out chairs. This actually took me ages to try to pick out the right chair for this office, because in the in original design the chairs were quite a I don't know, like a notable feature of the room. They were like statement chairs, not just sort of plain Jane chairs. So I go through checking a lot of my different recolors, a lot of the different ideas, and I end up picking these IKEA chairs. Obviously IKEA isn't particularly high end, but I don't know, they just looked the best to me at the end of the day, and I put them on some floor object rotators so that they could be at just slight angles. If you're unfamiliar with floor object rotators, oh, here's my animal print rug. Oh, yeah. They're a really cool item, which means you can, angle furniture in The Sims 2 with a lot more freedom by pressing the M key. They sort of just have a lot of different slots on them that allow you to rotate. Very, very nice modern glass desk, a couple of pot plants, and a laptop. Pretty much just finish off that little office space. It's very simple, but it looks very nice in my opinion. And then, here I think I'm just finishing off the cabinetry, and putting those back wall panels up using the Snap Objects to Grid false cheat so I could just place them wherever I wanted, and then picking out some bits and bobs to go on the shelves to make it look lived in. I think I end up coming back in at the end and changing out some of the sculptures and features on the shelf, but pretty happy with how that turned out at the end of the day. So picture on the wall, and now we're going to jump and we're going to move on to decorating the dining room. So the dining room was also a fun one to do. They have a very interesting wallpaper on the wall, and the one that I picked to sort of recreate that was a custom wallpaper that I made myself, so that was fun, being able to use a wallpaper that I'd made. I was like, oh, look at me go. Put this nice light feature in, and just a very simple sort of like wooden table. I went back and forth while decorating this on the size that the table should be, because in the sort of pictures it's a smaller table, but they've got 3 chairs sort of shoved in a small space. So I go back and forth once I've picked out my chairs and my table and whatever, about if I should make it a 3-tile table or a 2-tile table. And I think I end up going with the 2-tile at the end of the day because it fit the space better. Another sideboard, another thing I had to download more of for these builds that I've been doing were sideboards. Sideboards are something that you see in a lot of real life houses, but they didn't have that many of originally in The Sims. So my favorite set for sideboards is probably the Plantation set by Blake Boy. It has some really, really nice modern pieces. Shakealicious set by Buggy Boos has a nice sideboard too, and just a couple of different sets. Picking out some nice modern art for the wall here, just trying to get something that matched-ish to the original artwork that they had up. Again, I don't really have a sense of what good art is, so you might want to change that if you want to. And then so in the original build they had this huge like glassed in wall wine storage area, and I just sort of made that into a bar. I figured that a bar in sense of this being a build for The Sims 2, a bar made more sense, with some Sims 4 to 2 conversion wine bottles on the wall. And I thought that turned out quite nice. Here we are fiddling with the amount of chairs again, as I said. Oh, and now we moved on to the kitchen. Oh, how exciting. So the kitchen. Oh, this might actually be the servery. Yeah, so this is a fun little like hallway area in between the kitchen and the dining room that on the floor plan literally is called the servery, where your butler, I guess, can stage the food and start handing it out. But yes, then after the servery, we do move on to the kitchen. Now, the kitchen was a fun one. Obviously, it's challenging to recreate a modern kitchen in The Sims 2. Again, I make liberal use of these wall cabinets. These are from the Neil kitchen set, which is, I believe, believe, I'm blanking on the creator. Bugger. I'm sorry, I've blanked on your name, creator, but I love the Neil Kitchen set. If you search for Sims 2 Neil Kitchen, you will find that. I used some vanadium stove pieces over on the side here. That's a Veranka set. And I thought that turned out quite nice. It's a big stove. You know, you want a nice big statement stove for the big statement modern kitchen. And then we also have, the part of this kitchen that I struggled with the most was the island counter sort of in the middle of the kitchen. So in the original floor plan, it's kind of like there's a thick bit and then there's a thinner bit, which is the actual sort of like island counter. So I wanted to have normal counters at one end, so I could put a sink in there, and then island counters down the other end. And it just took me ages to pick out which counters I wanted to use in order to get the colors right, in order to get the functionality right. And I'm still not 100% happy with how it turned out at the end of the day, because I have a lot of overlapping counters and the lights sort of get a bit glitchy and a bit weird with all that overlapping counterness. But I did the best I could. That's what I'm going to say, is I did the best I could. I also am not happy with the bar stools that I pick out. I do change them before I take the screenshots for this build, so you'll see the ones that I ended up using. They are a little bit different, a little bit more modern, but I do need to actually find some better bar stools and download them and put them in my game. Oh yes, more CC, exactly what I need. But yeah, the kitchen, I mean, I think it turned out looking pretty nice. I think it did, and relatively happy with it. But yeah, just those overlapping counters do create a couple of weird lighting glitches, but I believe everything is completely functional. I believe everything can be used by the Sims, so that at least it's got that. And yeah, the fridge, I think I hid. No, I didn't hide it. I ended up, so I built this whole kitchen, and then when I was taking screenshots, I realized I'd forgot to put in a fridge. So I do go back in and put that in later. And then this section here, this is like a little sort of breakfast nook, and I just did not have the right table to recreate what they had put in the original design. I think this was towards the end of my building session for the day, and I got really tired and frustrated, and I ended up just sort of quitting and coming back to it at another point in time because I was so annoyed that I couldn't get the right table for this space. So that's just, you know, something that happens, I think. That area there is basically just a downstairs closet. It doesn't serve any function apart from just looking kind of cool. That's something that, like, I find with recreating real life houses is there's a lot more storage space in real life houses compared to sim houses, because Sims just don't really need closets. They don't really need that much storage space. But yeah, there's so many like cabinet areas in this build, including like there's a mudroom and like a walk-in pantry, and they're just literally full of cabinets because I don't know, that's what we need in real life. But this here is the downstairs powder room. At first I made it all white, and then I actually found some pictures of it in the real build, and I go back in and I change the color to like brown and black, which looks a lot better in my opinion. And yeah, just detailing the kitchen a little wee bit. I do actually detail it more before I call the build finished. And then I sort of turn around and I look at the living room area, and I'm like, oh God, I'm tired. I think I need a break. So I do just sort of stare at this for a while and then just take a break and come back to it later. So making another little jump ahead here. We've moved on. This is the upstairs master bathroom. There we go. And the master bedroom, unfortunately, so as I said, I took a break, and there was like a day in between those clips, and I came back to it and I decorated the whole master bedroom without filming any of it. So you guys don't actually get to see that. I do apologize. You will see the master bedroom in the screenshots, however. And yeah, this is the master bathroom, which actually looks very nice. Here's a little taste of the master bedroom. But yeah, so the master bathroom is very luxurious and very clean lines, very modern. And then next to that is a gigantic walk-in wardrobe. So this is another one of those spaces that honestly in the world of The Sims doesn't really make much sense, because The Sims don't need a massive walk-in closet. But I enjoyed putting together this nice big walk-in closet using, again, a lot of the Neil Kitchen pantry cabinet things, and I think it turned out looking quite nice. But I probably made it too white. I think I need to go in and add some extra sort of different colors. This room here, this is a little upstairs bedroom. In the images it looks kind of like a kid's bedroom, so that's the inspiration I took with it. And all of the beds have nice Jonesy bed blankets on them to make them look a little bit more modern, a little bit nicer, a little bit more comfortable and luxurious. All of the bedrooms also have rugs in them because the floorboards sort of just go throughout the entire house. And I noticed in the pictures that it looked like the rugs were pretty shaggy. So I went ahead and I got some shag rugs off the Sims resource, which you'll see me put down here in a minute. But first we are putting in some shelving, just some cool square shelving. I did not actually fill those shelves with clutter as I should have, but I might go back and do that. So yeah, shag rugs. Oh yeah. In real life, for me, shag rugs are a no-go because I have dogs and shag rugs collect all of the dog hair and mess, and it's not a good thing, but I like them in The Sims. And then bathrooms. Every single bedroom in this house has its own private bathroom. So talk about luxury. I mean, can you imagine having to clean that though? Oof, you definitely need a maid. This bedroom over here, this is in the corner. This is the first of the other double bedrooms that I decorate. And again, just making liberal use of like built-in cabinetry to fill up the otherwise very large, very empty space. Oh, here we've just gone back downstairs to fix a couple of issues with cabinets and objects clipping through the walls because I'm pretty sure my fiance came in and was like, what are you doing? I showed him this big luxury house I was building. He was like, wow, what's that sticking through the wall? And I was like, oh, I need to fix that. But yeah, so bathrooms, so many bathrooms, and yeah, very nice and luxurious for your Sims. Every single bedroom has its own one. But yeah, so this double bedroom, I think it turned out really nice actually. It has a very, again, just like sort of modern and clean vibe. I imagined that this would be for a teenage Sim, maybe like someone who's a little bit into music. I think I do put in a piano or like a keyboard towards the end of the room decorating because I had a lot of space in this room and I didn't know what to do with it. I definitely struggled to pick out the bed, but I'm happy with how it turned out in the end. And yeah, I really enjoyed how this room turned out because I think I cluttered it up pretty well. There's shelving, there's a little bit of, personal touches, and yeah, I think it turned out really nice. And then of course we put in another big shag rug. It's all about the shag in this house. I feel like shag rugs can look really good or they can look absolutely terrible. Yeah, just some nice artwork for the walls, of course, as well. Artwork is one of those things that will really raise the value of your Sim's house above what it would otherwise be. And yeah, I think it really added to the spaces. And then this bedroom back here, this is the second sort of double bedroom, and I'm fiddling with windows again. Because I'm still not satisfied with my windows. Gosh dang, stupid windows not looking right compared to the screenshots of the actual build. Anyway, it's fine, whatever. I just go back and undo it at the end of the day. But yeah, this is the other double bedroom. It had this nice sort of like wooden futon, and I was like, brilliant, I have one of those beds, I can put that bed in. So pretty sure that's a Sims 4:2 conversion of the futon in that game. And this room's a lot sort of just cleaner. There's a bit less personality going on in this double bedroom compared to the other double bedroom, but I think it still turned out pretty nice. And yeah, all of the bedrooms just have a lot of sort of built-in wardrobe space, a desk, some shelving, some clutter to, yeah, just personalize it up, I guess. And I think they turned out looking very nice. Like, I would certainly enjoy living in these bedrooms, especially with the private bathroom. So another shag rug, of course, goes in, a nice round one this time, and some shelves on the walls with just some little sculptures and little clutter items. Yeah, and then so over on this side, there is a bathroom, again, another private bathroom, which you can see me putting together here. And then next to the bathroom, there's actually a laundry room as well. So this is another one of those rooms that always exists, in a real floor plan, but never really exists in a Sims house. I believe that there is a functional laundry mod in development for The Sims 2. I'm really looking forward to that coming out because I would really like to have laundry. I'm one of those Simmers who really likes those kind of realistic chore touches in the game. A lot of people don't like them, I understand that, but that's why it's good if they're, additional content that you don't have to have in the game. And I really wanted the washer and dryer to sit under the cabinets in this room, and I ended up using OMSPs to accomplish that. But then after I finished the build, I was looking through custom content online, and I found that someone had actually edited some washer and dryer meshes to sit underneath a cabinet. So I need to download them and go back in and replace what I've done in this laundry room with all of the weird OMSP action, and the cabinets are actually sort of floating off the ground and everything. I need to go back in and sort of replace them with just washer and dryer that just sit under the cabinet. Right, so here looks like we are starting work on the backyard. So the backyard in this build is very nice, and I really liked how it looked in the screenshots. There is a little deck area where you can sit and relax on some deck chairs, and of course there's a nice lap pool, which you can see me putting in here. The pool also has a little bit of like a pool shed / storage / hangout area, which I'll build in a minute as well. But yeah, so a little deck area, which I thought was kind of cute and fun for relaxing on these beautiful sun chairs. And I really would have liked, again, to just put that up on a little platform, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that because Sims 2. And we of course recolored the pool as well. I really don't like the sort of default extremely blue look of the pools in The Sims 2, so I recolor it to be a little bit of a plainer, more muted blue. Put a fence around the backyard, and then we go ahead and start putting in some garden. And the garden it's nice. I think the garden is lovely. There are quite a few plants in the backyard, so if you do struggle with a lot of lag on this lot, I recommend probably removing a couple of the plants. And then this back corner back here just seemed to have sort of a big old gnarled pine tree in it, so I go ahead looking through all my different pine trees and put those in. And we put a little wall around the little deck area to make it a little bit more private, a little bit nicer. And then, yeah, just more plants, more gardening. I tried to have it look lush. On the back veranda here, the back deck, there is a little outdoor kitchen in the original build. So we do put in a little barbecue space there so you can have a barbecue. And then the porch just has a couple of plants sitting on it, which look very, very nice. And then to eat your barbecue, there is a little outdoor dining area too. So we go ahead, put in a big umbrella and some table and chairs. There is a mod for The Sims 2. I believe it's from SimLogical, and it is the table controller, I think it's called, and I highly recommend if you use this lot in your game you get that mod, because otherwise your Sims will constantly be trying to serve food all over the house where you don't want them to. So I think that mod would be essential for playing in this lot, because there's like the dining room, then there's like the breakfast table, and then there's this outdoor table as well. And basically with that controller you can just control which surfaces your Sims use. Very, very handy. And then yeah, back here we have this cool like outdoor hangout entertaining area with a fireplace. Again, I'm using like a Buggy Boo's corner fire here, which I wasn't satisfied with. So in between my sessions, I did actually download a different fireplace that I do put in here, and you will see that in the screenshots that it looks a little bit different. But yeah, this was a really cool outdoor space. And yeah, it's just got a couple of couches, and it's got a little bathroom attached to it, and then the other little area is like on the floor plan it says it's like pool equipment storage, so I just put a couple of little like outdoor garden area things in there, like some rakes and gumboots, and a little, I think I put like an electricity box in there, and it's meant to simulate that's like the controls for the pool, I guess. And then yeah, so this is the hangout area. Another thing that I struggled with and when I was doing this build was that the designer had used a lot of glass topped furniture in the original design, and I didn't have really a lot of glass top furniture, so that's another thing I had to download extra of in order to make this build look how I wanted it to look. Oh my gosh, I probably added like 2 gig of custom content to no, that's an exaggeration, maybe another gig of custom content to my game to get this build to work. But yeah, so there's a tiny little toilet out here, just a little powder room. Again, I did not decorate that particularly well. I was like, I'm over it. I'll just put in a toilet and a sink and call it done. And then, yeah, so this is just that little pool storage area that I was telling you about. So yeah, just a little electricity box that's meant to be like the pool filter, I guess, and some stuff. So yeah, then we are just decorating a little bit more of the backyard area. They had some like sort of extra paving that I tried to recreate. I don't know how successful I was, but yeah, that's pretty much the outside of the house done. So we will be jumping back inside in a moment. Oh yes, good. Here I am just having another go at the breakfast area. Trying to just get something in there that I was happy with. Oh yes, and I went around, I did add a significant amount of outdoor lighting. That's something that I can forget to do in my builds, but I think a lot of outdoor lighting really adds to the richness of the house. It makes it look a lot more realistic. And so here is the finished product. Oh my goodness, this house was an effort and a half to build, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Very proud of myself. I think it looks great, especially for a build style that I don't often do. Here's the front entry. You can see that barn door that I was talking about, a big industrial sliding door that I found online and popped in there to enter into this front office space. I think it looks very modern and lovely, and I am pretty happy with how similar I managed to make it look to the original screenshots as well. This is the dining area that you see here. I ended up going with the slightly smaller table, but you probably could fit a bigger one in there if you wanted to, with that bar area that I mentioned too. This is the servery, the little butler's pantry as you go through into the main kitchen, and you'll see here the changes I made to the bar stools. I also added that block along the top of the bar, which is a Buggy Boo's Nooks and Niches feature. Here's the living room, which you guys didn't actually get to see me build, but there's another one of those cabinets and a giant fireplace. We go upstairs, and that's sort of looking down into the entry. This is the master bedroom, another one that you guys didn't actually get to see. Again, my apologies for that. And that's sort of just looking towards the bathroom. You'll see another cool glass sliding door there that I also found online, popped in. And then, yeah, you enter into the master bathroom. I really, really like the bathroom cabinet that I put in there. That's a Veranka kitchen conversion, I believe, from The Sims 3. This is the sort of most little kitty bedroom with that blue shag rug and the shelves that I should have decorated. The bedroom off to the side, that's probably my favorite bedroom in the whole house. And then the other bedroom just sort of on the other side of the build there. This is the laundry room, completely unfunctional for now, but hopefully it will be functional in the future. And then, yeah, so the back of the house with that little outdoor kitchen, huge windows up to the bedroom and into the living room, lots of sort of greenness and garden and prettiness. And then there's that little sort of outdoor fireplace and hangout area. So that is the build. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching me create this. Definitely leave a like on the video if you did. You can hit subscribe. You can hit the notification bell to see more of my stuff. There is a link below this video if you would like to download this house. You can, just be aware that it comes with quite a lot of custom content, as I've mentioned multiple times. But that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.